Happy New Year. I think today's the first day of the new year. Wanted to remind everyone to sit up straight. That's right, sit up straight in your chair. You hear that? I have to remind myself to do that too, sitting up straight every day. Even though I'm the one telling everyone to sit up straight. I'm wearing this weight belt. It's a belt you see warehouse workers wear so they don't throw their back out. I wear it while I sit in front of the computer, so it'll remind me not to bend over and bend my lower back the other way. It'll remind me to sit nice and straight, and you couldn't even tell I had it on unless I stood all the way up. So every day is about fitness. Fitness isn't only the day that you go to work out in the park or your home gym or wherever, if you even work out once a week. But when people say fitness, people think of squats, jumping up and down. Fitness, let's not even get into mental fitness, but physical fitness is even when you're at home sitting down in a chair. Are you thinking about your physical fitness then? Or do you not care and you slouch over all hunchbacked and your head's in the wrong position? You got your forward neck posture. I mean, fitness is something that is 24 hours. Fitness never stops. You know, if you're sleeping in the wrong position, that's bad for your posture and your fitness. So that's about all I'll say about that today. I want to talk more about marketing. I think I will. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna think I'll try to pay more attention to the comments today. Not that because I think the last couple times that somebody made a comment and I didn't see it until way after. And so I think I'll keep Facebook anyways. If anyone wants to ask a question or chime in today. My boss, I call him my boss, man, but you know, it is my friend, but he technically, I mean, is my boss, but I work for a law firm. It's one man is the lawyer, the top lawyer. He's the founder of the law firm, and frankly, he's done an amazing job automating things on the back end. It's pretty incredible situation to walk into. You got a lot of things done that I never would have thought of doing. But at the end of the day, it's a business like any other thing. And the interesting thing is that, like, you know, my experience, you know, I've seen multiple small businesses, right? And then so my perspective, and this may be his first, you know, actual legitimate business that he started, and you know, he's been a lawyer for 12 years. But this practice is 2 years old. You know, you know, he's been a lawyer for 12 years, but you know, maybe he's worked for bigger law firms. He's worked for smaller law firms, and you know, he had a partnership with a different partner, and then he broke off and, and he went on his own now. So he's been on his own for a couple of years, and when you're on your own, it's a different story because you're not just an attorney anymore. You're an entrepreneur, a business owner. You know, now you're dealing with payroll stuff, right? Whereas when you were just an attorney working for someone else, you were the employee collecting a paycheck. And now all of a sudden, I think when you go from attorney to business owner, attorney, I think your responsibilities multiply by fivefold. You know, now you're responsible for payroll, meeting obligations, right? Like Now you have to make sure that you're bringing in as much money as you're paying out. Otherwise, you go into debt, and then now you're like, fuck, additional stress that you didn't have when you were just collecting a paycheck. Um, and no, so that's my perspective is when you when you make that step, whatever business it is that you do, it's I think that most people think it's easier than it actually is, because once you go through it, you're like, damn, I didn't, you're like, running a business is no joke. But before you do it, you're just like, oh, I think I could do that. I think I would like to own my own business. And then after you do it, you're like, who the hell would want to own their own business? It's my perspective. There are the good things, the whole freedom, not having a boss, that part. And I mean, that's why you would do all that in the first place, I think. Um, so without further ado, I had this morning off, kind of technically. Normally, I have an hour meeting with Chris, my boss, owner of the law firm, and we don't have the meeting this morning, so I could get started a little bit later on my morning vlog, and I could also uh, we spend a large part of the morning, maybe half of the meeting going over metrics, just things, how things look. I mean, because digital marketing is a very dynamic, meaning things change. You can change ads daily. Like, for example, print, very slow moving. If you put an ad, say in the newspaper, you can't change that, right? But a Google ad, you can literally change it right now, and then the ad will change based on what you're searching. So maybe current events change. You could change your keywords, what keywords you're targeting. Maybe people are searching coronavirus. Now, hey, it's 2021. So that's a big keyword. Everything is going to have 2021. You could make up some 2021 keywords, like and actually we were thinking that last month, right? 2021 is right around the corner. Whatever business it is that you do, it would be a great time to be like, best blah 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 2021, the best guide of 2021 for insert whatever it is that you do. We just so happen to be a bankruptcy attorney. We are a bankruptcy law firm, and for most attorneys, just about any business, but attorneys specifically, well, there's really two things that are important: what it is that you are, and where you're located. So Los Angeles, for example, if you're a divorce attorney in Los Angeles, it's very obvious what the keywords you're going after. The most important keyword for you is divorce attorney, Los Angeles. So Chris does two things. Chris does bankruptcy and divorce, and he's located in Orange County, California. Now, I don't think Orange County is as saturated as Los Angeles. I don't know. I've never worked for a lawyer in Los Angeles. I can just kind of assume Los Angeles is one of the most saturated markets on earth, probably. But Orange County can't be too far behind, because there's a lot of money in Orange County. So, but it's just it's the population isn't as high as Los Angeles general for keyword wise, but it's not too far behind. I'm just saying. I would imagine Orange County is somewhat easier. I wouldn't even call it easy per se, but let's just say I'm glad I'm not going for Los Angeles keywords. Just not that I'm opposed to it. It's just like, oh boy, if you have to fight the Los Angeles keyword battle, that could be a much tougher battle to fight. But working on Orange County, it's still. It's not. I wouldn't say it still feels like the Olympics. Let's put it that way. Either one. I don't know. I would assume this going into it. But I've been working on the account for a couple months, and I guess this morning I will just I'm just gonna go through kind of an update. So that's why I would love audience interaction. Someone, hey, what does that mean? That would be a good uh, and one of the reasons I wanted to dive deeper into marketing this morning, because this is just supposed to be my morning vlog, just random thoughts. Is because I was gonna do this anyway, so I was like, might as well get it on camera. I'll have to ask Chris after the fact if he's fine with me using his company internal benchmarks, and if he's like not cool with it, I'm like, well, I'll just delete that video, and whoever saw it then. So sometimes you you ask after the fact, but I don't think it's a big deal. Um, the bigger deal is for me because because if I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get to page one, and it's kind of embarrassing if I never get there, or I don't come through, and it's pretty much like I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm I just want to put out there, Orange County, California. The show The OC might have put it literally on the map in the worldwide, but I think if you're in California, you kind of know how big of a market, especially Orange County. Orange County is an entire county. I mean, come on, we're talking about, I don't know how many cities, but there's a lot of cities in Orange County. So what I mean is that there could potentially be quite many attorneys. You know what I'm saying? Because the county incorporates a lot of smaller cities that would love to be like, hey, I'm the number one bankruptcy attorney or divorce attorney in Orange County. So that's the two actually specialties that Chris does, as bankruptcies and divorces. But if we have to narrow it down to one, it's bankruptcies. Divorce just came kind of by way of, but it's, and then the reason is because I was like, Chris, it kind of makes sense, because a lot of people that get divorced end up filing for bankruptcy. I'm like, hey, that makes sense. Is that why? And he was like, kind of, but the reason really is he specializes in form intensive processes, right? Because both bankruptcies and divorces, it's a lot of forms, the same forms over and over, and no one likes dealing with forms, but that's just that's how the legal process is. And so, and he's got things automated really well on the back end, and making things really smooth for the client, with reminders, like if you didn't get something in, life happens, but the back end's really smoothly programmed to just make things easy for both sides. So anyways, that being said, I step in on the marketing end. I don't want to bore the audience, but what can you do when you talk too much? So I'm gonna look at something called Google Search Console. It was I don't remember when they changed the name. It used to be called Webmaster Tools. And this may be a completely foreign program for, so I don't assume, but if you're not in the marketing world, you may have never heard of a thing called Google Search Console. Nor would you really have any need or use for it if you're just the business owner, and you're not directly looking at metrics and knowing how to interpret them. It's kind of the reason I'm writing my marketing book, is because I've dealt with this stuff for many years, and for people in the marketing world, it's kind of simple, like, oh yeah, no big deal. But also, it's not something that's like common knowledge to entrepreneurs or business owners either. And it doesn't take very long to explain. And it's a free app. It's a free install. It's you connect it for free, and even after it's connected, you're not really sure how to use it, or when to check it, or what to do with the information, and how to act on any information that you see, or how to use it for reports. It's just and that's the way of the world. Sometimes when you have a million tools, then you still don't do anything, because Sometimes it's easier in life when there's three tools. Because you just use all three tools and you do what you can. When there's a million tools there and every tool interacts with every other tool, you're like, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. There's just so many things to do, so many things. So if people learned how to use Google Search Console, first of all, if people learned how to use Google Search Console, it they would stop wasting money on SEO software which is the really funny thing. I mean, am I here setting out to put SEO softwares out of business? No, I don't really care. I'm But what I am doing is showing you how one free tool um, shows you the same information that you're trying to pay for with a lot of programs. Now, does it package it in as beautiful or as maybe a better of a way? Maybe not. That's why some bigger companies or some SEO specific people will still pay for these things, like SEO keyword monitoring programs. But the Google Search Console, and sometimes you're like, well, I already have Google Analytics, and I'm like, all right, great. Google Search Console integrates with Google Analytics, and sometimes you wonder why it's not the same program. I think the real answer is because Google acquired these companies separately, and just it doesn't make sense to merge them at a later date, so they end up just integrating them somehow. But it begs the question, why isn't this just part of Google Analytics? Dude, I don't know, man. I just use this shit, dude. I don't work for Google. Really, this really should just be Google Analytics. Sometimes I'm just like, they make things hard for you, dude. Don't ask me why. I'm just saying, okay, if you've already figured out how to install Google Analytics, that's awesome, because when I started messing around with this shit, and I'm like, man, the first time I ever got Google Analytics to work, and then you see the traffic hit your website, and it's actual people, and it's measuring it, and you're like, all right, I did it the right way, I installed the code, great. And then you find out there's this thing called Google Search Console, and you're like, what the fuck? I have to do this too? Come on, man. But this is how I use it. And so Google Search Console, at the heart of it, let's just call it a SEO measurement tool, search engine optimization. So I went from overall to performance tab. And it's code you load on your website the same as you would load Google Analytics, and it measures right here, the first page it takes you to on performance. It measures the keywords that people search on Google, what they're using before they land on your site. So if you're not using this, for example, you can still you can still measure, okay, this is how many people are coming to my site. I know I get 10, 20 visits a day, and that's all you know. Even if you're using Google Analytics, this gives you a deeper dive into your organic traffic. So now if you're getting 10, 20, 100 visits a day, Google Search Console literally breaks down, okay, these are the keywords they were searching right before they landed on your site. This is how many impressions you're getting. And then average position, okay, this is literally in the right column. This is literally the position on Google you are right now for that particular keyword. And so, and then let's click into a individual keyword. Let's just say Orange County bankruptcy attorney, probably his most important one. And this is over the last 3 months. So 3 months ago, he wasn't showing up at all. And then recently he started to rank. This is position 50 is on page 6 of Google, and now he's climbing, and he might be, somewhere page 3 or 4 right now for Orange County bankruptcy attorney. Probably his most important keyword. And this is for the last 3 months, and Google, this is information directly from Google. So when you sign up for SEO software, it's not even as accurate as what Google's giving you. SEO software, they have their own crawlers that crawl the internet, and they kind of approximate, and it's nowhere near as good or as strong. This is literally Google giving you the information. It doesn't get better than, so your rank will nowhere be near as accurate as what Google's giving you. Now, there's softwares out there that are really useful though, like they can do location specific, like they can fake that something is searching from Florida or whatever and say, oh, this is where you rank from Florida, but this is where you rank from Los Angeles. Now, they don't really give you the power to do that here, because that's not what this is for. This is to analyze your own traffic. So there are other very niche SEO softwares that I would say, hey, if you're using it to do that, great. But if you just need some simple keyword tracking and measure the rank of the one keyword, that just use Google Search Console. And you don't, I don't mean to put any other companies out of business today, so that's all I'll say about that. And so we're just looking at Orange County bankruptcy attorney. I like to laugh because, you know, as a marketing guy, a sales guy, marketing salespeople, let's just be honest, are always just kind of tooting their own horn, because that's kind of what it takes. Because you're kind of like a 100-meter sprinter. It's like once you lose your confidence, you can't win races anymore, because, you know, everyone's about the same speed and the same strength, and sometimes it's just the willpower and the mental. I don't know really what it is. I'm not a sprinter, but I kind of think that's kind of how it is when it comes to competition, and that's what we're doing. We're competing. We're competing on Google, and it's a different race, right? Google doesn't care which lawyer's better. Google really doesn't care like which lawyer is better. Google cares on as far as how they rank. Google cares which, you know, lawyer is doing better marketing online. And that could be the lawyer that's been around for 100 years, or that could be the lawyer that just came around last year and's got like a freaking billionaire dad and gave him, you know, $100 million marketing budget and is like, Merry Christmas, son. Go be the number one lawyer in Orange County. So he buys up all the advertising space. You see a billboard, and that's expensive, but you know what? He's gonna get all the name recognition, and they're like, oh, yes, I've seen you on TV, and I've heard you on the radio, I've heard you on the Spotify ads, but here's the thing about that. That's great. That guy's not gonna be profitable though, right? Let's say you spend $10 million on marketing, right? But are you gonna make $10 million back from your clients? Maybe not. Maybe you don't care because you have a billionaire dad funding your law firm for the first few years, right? But most people aren't so lucky, and they have to really earn that traffic. And so that's what we're trying to do over here. And so I stretched the date back 16 months, right? And for the keyword Orange County bankruptcy attorney, and Chris has gone through a combination of doing his own marketing, hiring different people. When I had my marketing company, this was like 4 or 5 years ago, and he was with a different law firm. It was him and a partner. I had worked with him then in the capacity of him hiring my marketing company. And then a few years later, our paths crossed again, and here we are. But so anyways, okay, so this is, so we stretched back about 16 months, so a year and some change. And so he was on the map at some point, and he fell off, went silent. And this is about right when I joined up in October. And then so it's so for lawyers, right? It's easy. It's just like, where are you located and what do you do? So he's in Orange County. I wouldn't say, yeah, it is saturated, but it's more, it's a big money market too. It's like, just a lot of rich neighborhoods in Orange County. It's neighborhoods Los Angeles. You could almost like group it into Los Angeles depending on how, where in the world you are. Um, and is a bankruptcy attorney. And then, the with a small team, we don't want to spread ourselves too thin. So while he actually does bankruptcies and divorce, right? I can only work on one or the other at any another one keyword is just like would I don't have the resources to go for both, nor do can I like guarantee results on two separate keyword groups at the same time. I'm literally just one man. Can only do so much. Anyways, it's to show you what I mean. Okay, so these are just graphs. You're like, what the fuck does all this shit mean? This is like Chinese. Well, if you speak Chinese, then no, it's not like Chinese. But you're like, what do these graphs mean? Okay, so let's get rid of some of these colors, and I'll just explain them one by one. So average position is, and this is over time. I don't know if you can see these dates, and and the keyword we're looking at is Orange County bankruptcy attorney. And what you want to see is you want to see a connected line, because and then position, and why zero is at the very top means if you're in number one position, that means when you Google this keyword term, you are on the first page of Google in the first position. That's why it's best to be at number one at the very top. And so the lower you are, let's say you're at number 120. 120 is like page 12, right? Because there's 10 per page. So 1 through 10 is page 1 of Google. 11 through 20 is page 2 of Google. So for the term Orange County bankruptcy attorney, so we'll open an incognito window, and we'll search Orange County bankruptcy attorney. And I already know what his title tag is. His title tag starts with CN Law. So for me, I'm just scanning for CN Law. That's how I can really quickly. There's a lot of like spammy titles, as you can see. The ads are ads. And so that's page 2. We're not on page 2. We're not on page 3 today. And maybe I had missed it. Oh, there we are. Okay. So we're on page 4. So page 4 would be 30. I think that would be result number 40. Okay, so it fluctuates. It goes up and down for Orange County bankruptcy attorney. We are on page 40. I think that's where we expected to show up right here. It says we're on 31.4, so it goes up and down each day. And how do we look at this graph? The dots mean you disappear completely. Like if there's a dot, there's a blank space and then a dot, that means you appeared on a search and then you disappeared for a while. So that's just like kind of spotty. And what you do want to see is a connected line, and what you ideally hope for is to be more towards the top, because number 0 through 10, number 1 through 10, that would be you're on the first page of Google and you're getting all that good organic search traffic for the keyword that you want. Now, I've only been here for a couple months. We'll see what happens for 2001. Here's where it looks on the Google Analytics side. This is how you connect what we were just looking at into your Google Analytics. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but the tabs on the left side, you go to acquisition, search console. There's literally a button there that says search console. You go to queries. It is a little bit complicated, a little bit deep. And then our information is imported into our Google Analytics. If yours just doesn't look like this, there will be a little button up here that says how connect it, and you have to go through some steps. Might make a video directly on that in the future. Probably won't because I'm lazy, and it's a really boring topic. But it's a very one of the most necessary things you can do. And so all our information is imported in. Don't feel like going through it right now. Um, I look at this stuff on a daily basis, and I've bored myself to death. So I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Um, this is one of the reasons, though, I have undertaken to write a marketing book is because people that look at this stuff every day is like elementary. They're just like, "Hey, Omar, you're just going over like analytics 101 and search console 101." And I would agree. There's many people in marketing that would just be like, "Okay, this is useless for me, Omar." And yeah. Uh what I also know is there's a huge section of people that would probably find this somewhat enlightening, and I think the people that I've noticed would be like entrepreneurs, startup owners, business owners that are doing a lot of things on their own. It might be using some of these tools, or might not even know about the easy free tools and how to connect them the right way. And to that audience of people, I think that is kind of who I'm targeting with my marketing book. And but as far as people that do marketing, I hope this stuff is and here's the amazing thing. There's a lot of marketing people, quote quote, marketing covers so much stuff that when you call yourself a marketing person, it's hard to even know what that means. And that I'll come across marketing people who self-identify as marketing people, who this would be somewhat foreign to where I think a lot of marketing people would be even enlightened by some of the topics in my marketing book. And to that point, it's like how foundational some of this stuff is how surprising that there isn't some kind of marketing 101. Just like there's some other basic 101 topics like football 101. They teach you how to tackle and how to properly wrap up, or where to put your head, things like that. There's a marketing 101 that says, okay, this is how you properly install Google Analytics and how you use it for your purpose, how to set up a goal, whether your goal is filling out a contact form or making a e-commerce sale. This is how you set up Google Search Console and connect it to Google Analytics and use the information the right way, depending on what you want to do. And I'm just like, there really isn't. I was just going to touch on that a little bit. This is kind of how we use the information on the back end and connect it together. That's all. This is very boring for me, so I'm gonna end it here for today. Happy New Year. Bye.